Hey everybody. Hope everyone's having a good afternoon. So after I get off work every day with the city, I get right back to work at the house. Right now I'm trying to get things together to get painted on the outside. Um, as I was talking to y'all earlier today a little bit about the water system and all the projects going on in town in general, um, the topic of the water system, I think there's some things folks just need to understand about our system and what kind of makes it special. We're kind of unique in the sense that it's not common for a small town like Eupora to have such a large water system. We extend all the way from Calhoun County in the north to LaGrange down in Choctaw County on the south. And all the water comes from Tom Nolan. We have pumps, a series of pumps in the Tom Nolan area. There's a large aquifer there called the Lower Wilcox Aquifer, and that's where we get our water from. So um, back in the day when Eupora was originally kind of up and running, getting started, there were wells here in town. But what they found over time was that these wells were just full of iron. So it rusted pipes, it rusted fixtures. It just wasn't fit for consumption. Then they, identify the location in Tom Nolan to get water from. That's the Lower Wilcox Aquifer. It supplies our water system. It supplies Stewart, Tom Nolan, lots of other water systems as well. It runs the entire length of the state pretty much, so it's very substantial. But that water gets pumped in from Tom Nolan, and those wells got built out there in the 1970s were the first two wells, and then we did two more wells in the 1990s. So all that infrastructure is aging. Those wells built in the 70s, they're pushing 50, 60 years old, and it's time to start thinking about what the future holds. We are in the process of finding a new well site in Tom Nolan for a fifth well to continue supporting Eupora. But like I said, our system goes all the way from Calhoun County in the north all the way down into LaGrange, into Choctaw County in the south. And that's a pretty big system. We've got over, I think, 2,300 customers in our entire system. And like I said, that's not common for a town the size of Eupora. We're also dealing with an old system. Over the years, things have been pieced and patched and corrected. And we've been very fortunate that we were able to get some funding through a loan in 2019 that has helped fund the new water tank that's on Gould Avenue here in town, and a new line coming in from Tom Nolan, a new 16-inch water line that crews have been working on for the past 3 years, 4 years almost, actually going on 5, to get that up and running. And this week they fired that up. They're in the process of testing things right now, making sure it's all functioning properly. And that's just going to help us in the future to make sure we have the ability to get that water from point A to point B. That's the expense of everything, is getting the water from point A to point B. It's not necessarily the water. I personally think water should be free, but we've got to get it from the ground to your house, and that's where the cost is. So just know when we're talking about the Eupora system, it's unique in its size. It is a large system. We have a lot to keep up with. Over the years, Eupora acquired multiple systems, including Walthall, Bell Fountain, and LaGrange. We used to also supply SEPA until a few years ago. They got back on their own wells. Um, but there are also valves in between. So we're still connected to SEPA. We're connected to Tom Nolan. I believe we're connected to Mountain Zion. So if there's ever an issue in those systems where they need water, they can get water from Eupora, and vice versa. Not that they could support the entire Eupora system, but if there was an emergency failure, we could maybe rely on them to help get water to the citizens of Eupora as needed. So what I hope to do through this little series is just fill you guys in on how our water system works, um, what it takes to keep it up, what our future focus is. We know there are issues, we know there are problems. It's an old system, but my hope is to do a better job of keeping residents informed of where we're at with it and how we're going about ensuring that we can provide water for the future. This isn't my water system. This isn't the Board of Aldermen's water system. This is your water system. And I think it's important, and I take it very seriously, that we have the right people in the right place and that we're looking ahead 5, 10 years down the road so that we don't have any major surprises, so that we can continue providing quality service. We have great water. The water that comes out of the ground in Tom Nolan is wonderful. But by the time it gets to your residents, it goes through a lot of old pipe. And that's where the issue is. And that's what we're going to be working on for the future to try to get that improved and corrected. So you guys keep in touch and follow along. I'll try my best to post these daily. Again, the purpose of this is, as we're coming up on a public hearing on Monday the 16th for discussing a water rate increase, my hope is that I can help folks understand a little bit about our system and how expensive it's gotten since the pandemic. And a lot of the prices haven't gone down on the material that we use on a daily basis to keep things flowing. So again, I'm not trying to convince anyone either way. I'm just trying to give information about the reality of our system, and if we want to keep going forward and provide the best quality service and the best quality product that we can, we've got to be forward thinking in how we go about it. So hope y'all uh, follow along, and if you've got questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can email me at euporapublicworks.com. I'll answer your questions either on a live or on a reel. And you can also text them to 662-552-3248. So keep that in mind. Be happy to answer any questions you've got.